I have a bit of a surprise for you tonight. I'm going to show you letters that I wrote to Mother and Mother's answers, and I will pass them around. So I wrote, Dearest Mother, would it be a good idea to hold a meditation at the banyan tree on February 28th, 1971, to aspire for the manifestation of the Garden of Unity? If so, would you set the time? Here's Mother's answer. This is a letter from June 27th, 1966. Dearest Divine Mother, Anne was my first wife. She passed away a few years ago. Anne wants to stay in the U.S. and follow her way through music. Shall I remain with Anne or come alone to live at the ashram? I wish only to know where I may serve thee best, Mother. In any case, I shall attempt to save money, to raise money for the ashram, and will write Arindam for details. Here's Mother's answer, so beautiful. To remain with Anne is more natural and effective. Then Mother writes, the love and blessings are always underlined and everywhere underlined with you both. People used to send Mother these pens, like Sharpie pens, and she got used to writing with the Sharpie pens. You can see it there. So this is a time when I had amoebic dysentery. It was in 72, 3rd of September. Dearest Mother, again the amoebic dysentery has returned. It is coming much more frequently now than it did previously, and within a few days the condition is serious. I pray to thee for guidance to know if I should continue taking the antibiotics, receiving medical attention, or if, in spite of my innumerable failings and my lack of a total faith and sincerity, is the time now to rely solely on the force, discontinuing all treatment and preparing myself for whatever may come. Mother writes a big no. So I had to continue taking the medicine. And at one point she writes to me, trust in my force and take the medicine. See, Huta was always with Mother, seeing her every day, writing almost 5,000 letters to Mother. Imagine that. And Mother replied to every letter. It's just one person. So now, Mother writes to me a whole letter. If it is possible for you to keep either one day a week or 1 or 2 hours a day to do the work of Savitri, I would be very happy, because I am sure you can make a success of it. See how you can arrange and let me know for the final arrangement. Love and blessings, Mother. This is when Mother asked me to photograph all the paintings that Huta had done. And this is her letter to me. Then I wrote to Mother, the following dates are arranged for the work on Savitri. Thursday, 4/2/71, test roll. After receipt of the test roll, I will work every Sunday afternoon until the work is completed. And it took a long time. And Howard, who is now called Amrit, asks for your grace and guidance so the work may progress steadily at the nursery, Matrimandia Nursery. I too pray that I may do the very best possible, and I'm deeply grateful for all you have given. Mother writes, it is all right. Love and blessings. I have never shown these letters to anyone else.
Where was you and where was she? You were both in the ashram, yeah, at this time? Yeah. You didn't talk, you were writing.
No, I talked to Mother many times also. My first interview with her was almost 1 hour. And that's when she told me to bring down the new music. And that's when she talked to me about many different composers in the world and what they had brought down. She told me so many other things, but I was in a daze when she asked me, would you like to talk or would you like to meditate? I said, meditate, Mother. I'm 23 years old, I don't know anything about meditation. And then Mother gave me the initiation, the experience of my life. I'll never forget that moment. It must have lasted 15 or 20 minutes when she put a fire in my solar plexus. And that fire started to grow and grow and grow. And then the flames were coming out of my head and rising way in the sky. But there was no heat. There was no burning. It was just the flame, the psychic flame of aspiration that she stoked. It was already there because, I have many, many other letters from Mother. Because she wrote to me, when I asked, I said, Mother, you have turned my life upside down. What should I do? Should I go back to America and study voice? Or should I continue to learn choral directing? Mother writes, one or the other, because the important thing is not so much what you will do, but the spirit in which you will do it. And then she writes something that I'll never understand. Keep living in you the spirit of consecration, and all will be all right. In 1971, I completed the first draft of Flowers and Their Messages. With Richard Pearson's help, we used to meet in the laboratory in the ashram every week. So I wrote to Mother. Richard Pearson and I have completed the first draft of the book on the significance of flowers. We now have many points to be clarified. And I would like also to send you some of the new flowers from the Matramanya Gardens Nursery. Could Richard P. begin to see you in March? All my love at thy feet. Mother writes, Richard can come once a month with a few flowers. And then Mother gets very specific. The third Tuesday of every month starting 16th March. And when I came back to rejoin Oroville, they put me through hell. This committee really made it very painful for me. And now I'm going to show you proof. Mother's own handwriting. Richard Eggenberger, that was my name before she named me Narad, Oroville. I should have had that and showed it to those people.
It is also there in Savitri Bhavan. It is your name and mother named you Narad. It's there in the Savitri Bhavan, one of the books.
Oh, is it?
I read there.
Where is it?
In the Savitri Bhavan, the reception. After that, the table. They have pamphlets about Oroville, Savitri Bhavan, and mother's agenda. Hutta's painting. Hutta and mother. Yeah.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you for telling me. In the late 60s and early 70s, there was this gentleman, his name was Dayanand. And Dayanand and I worked together. So this is a letter to Mother. Dayanand has recommended that a well be dug at the nursery. This seems to be an excellent idea, since we must grow many plants and need a constant supply of water. Mother, is it best to dig a well or to run a pipeline from the well at Arindam? Well, finally we ran a pipeline. Now I write, our motorcycle has arrived. May we have your blessings and protection to drive it. And there was something about flowers that I sent her. And Mother writes, my blessings are with you. This is a letter from Hutta. Dear Richard, in answer to my letter regarding the slides of Savitri, the Mother has sent this blessing packet underlined for you. As soon as I get the film, I'll let you know. Meanwhile, please accept my thanks for your collaboration and goodwill. With kindest regards, Hutta.
What does the name Hutta mean? Where does it come from?
The offered one. The offered one.
The offered one.
Yes, but in which language?
Sanskrit.
Sanskrit. Is it Sanskrit?
Yes.
Hutta, mother tongue. Oh.
And it is very
Offered one.
it is very interesting because, you know, she came as a very young girl. And she was not very kind to Mother. One time Mother gave her a huge vase of flowers and she threw it on the floor and crushed the whole vase. But Mother saw something in her. And here's an interesting thing. I was very close to Temi Masalawala. You know Temi. She was a teacher in the school for 50 years.
I heard, but
You heard only. Well, one day I was recounting this, what Mother said about Huta. She has a beautiful soul. And Temi looks at me with a big smile and she says, we all have beautiful souls. This was from Pavitra in 1964. My dear Richard, I received your letter and delayed a little to answer you because I wanted to show it to the mother. She said that your dream was authentic and good. She sends you her blessings. On my side, I am quite happy to have been a link in bringing you closer to the mother. The mother said also that you need not try to reconstruct the dream, for it may bring a mental deformation of it, which will be useless. Have confidence. Similar experiences will come to you in the future. With brotherly regards, yours sincerely, in the light and love of the Mother, Pavitra.
I want to know something.
Certainly.
In this letter, you just shared what was the dream about?
I knew that was coming. And I have the next letter right here. It took place in September, the 4th of September, 1965, in my parents' home. I write, Dearest Mother, last night I had a dream. It was about Sri Aurobindo. I shall tell it to thee and not try to reconstruct it again afterwards. Sri Aurobindo was in a room sitting on a couch. Another man was in the room near the door. I was, as best I can remember, ushered into the room and knelt with my legs folded under me on the couch next to Sri Aurobindo. He spoke with me, but all I can remember is his saying, what a lucky fellow you are to be able to realize all your ambitions. He seemed to be saying it in a very jolly way, and his laughter was light and airy. And I remember such a feeling of love flowing from his words. I cannot remember his saying any more. Then he placed his hand on my heart, and his hair touched my heart. Actually, what happened was that he had long hair, and the hair fell between his fingers as he touched my heart. Next, he touched my stomach with his hand, and I remember most vividly a beautiful feeling of warmth coursing through my body. It was not the fire that I felt when I had my interview with thee, and you looked through me. That was a fire that burned through me and set my being aflame. Last evening, when the Master touched me, I felt something different, yet also complete in every way. This is all I can remember. I am sending this letter through Pavitra, since he was the contact of my first experience, aspiring to be a more complete, a more perfect instrument for thy work. On my birthday in 1970, I have this from Mother. Remember that I am present in thee, and lose not hope. Each effort, each grief, each joy and each pang, each call of thy heart, each aspiration of thy soul, all without exception, lead thee towards me. And here you can see how they gave a card for your birthday. This is not the card that Mother gave me. I have all of those in America. And it says here, name, it says the date first, 29/7/70. This was already 9 years after I met Mother. Name, Richard Eggenberger. Remarks, Anne's husband. And then it says Oroville. Reference, Nolini. I've tried to save most of these. Then in 71, there was another card. Reference was Kumuda. This is a longish letter from Mangesh Nadkarni. Anyone remember Nadkarni?
I've seen the.
Yes?
He was taking in Savitri.
Yes. He was taking, for many, many years, he taught Savitri. I think that was now turned over to Alok Pandey. So this was a program that Annie and I gave to the ashram. It was a program based on the evolution of the world. And what we did in those days, we had 2 slide projectors. And so we would start the screen and we would move our hands and move the one projector on top of the other to create a 3D effect. And this is what Nadkarni wrote. I'm going to end with this because it's so powerful, I want you to know about it. This is a work of art, conceived in devotion and offered in devotion. It owes its inspiration to Sri Aurobindo's great epic, Savitri, and it may be looked upon as meditations on the Savitri theme. It is a lyrical presentation through the medium of colored slides and taped music of an inner vision of nature and man as aspects of the evolving divine, of the cosmic play of evolution, which is its present place, which in its present place is being directed by Sri Aurobindo and the Mother. An inspiring theme of transcendental grandeur, a fine creative imagination, and an amazing technical virtuosity have made this presentation a fascinating artistic achievement. The message is conveyed in an intensely lyrical style and has as many nuances to it as there are viewers with the capacity to approach it in a truly meditative frame of mind. Each picture projected on the screen evokes an experience of mystic closeness to the various moods of nature. There is a riot of color and beauty in each of the individual pictures, and the sequence of their presentation is the sequence of the realm of dynamic meditation. The visual impact of the show is heightened by the accompanying music and memorable lines of poetry. The presentation opens with the mystic rose, which climbs from nature's deep surrendered heart and blooms forever at the feet of God. Then comes the inconscient, dumb abyss, in which are heard the heartbeats of the infinite. Gradually, the blind mask of the face of God is shed, and the dawn of creation is ablaze upon the quivering edge of the universe. Then follows a series of remarkable pictures dwelling on the various faces of nature, the terrible, the calm, and the rapturously joyous, behind all of which we are conscious of the presence of the divine. We then witness the next stage, in which the ape man arrives, and which marks the obscure beginnings of the human race, an ignorant race who hug their lot and mock the Savior light, and see in mind wisdom's sole tabernacle. These is quoted lines from Savitri. There are many splendid achievements which do credit to man, whom Sri Aurobindo once described as a fragile miracle of thinking clay, who armed with illusions walks his path in time. But there are also many moments to his imperfect status: crucified Christ, barbed wire concentration camps, the Holocaust of nuclear weapons, and the hunger and desolation that has so much of humanity in its merciless grip. Man's incapacity to transcend the limitations of his imperfect status give rise to a prayer, and as a reply to this prayer is born Savitri, who alone is capable of guiding man to the path of a new life. The final part of this presentation focuses on Sri Aurobindo and the Mother and their work on earth and for the evolution of man on earth, as the soundtrack reproduces some of the most memorable lines from Savitri and from Mother's own writings. We see on the screen the victorious faces of Sri Aurobindo and the Mother. As the show ends, our grateful hearts echo the following lines of Sri Aurobindo. I know, O God, this day shall dawn at last, the day shall dawn at last, when man shall rise from playing with the mud, and taking in his hands the sun and stars, remold appearance, law, and process old. Then pain and discord vanished from the worlds. Shall the dead wilderness accept the rose, and the hushed heart babble of its rills? Man once more seeing the image true of God. Now I'm going to read to you or tell you a little bit more about this program, because it was such a work that Madhav Pandit said, I have never seen anything more beautiful in the ashram. And Huta was in tears, and many of the senior ashramites came and appreciated it. So Annie wrote to Mother, and she asked Mother if we could do it in the playground, and Mother said yes. 2 days later, I received this letter. Now, I'm told by Shadalu that Huta wanted to do something similar with her Savitri paintings. Prepare yourselves, people. Concerning Savitri, nothing of all this useless fancy must be done. I have said to Huta what must be done. It is that or nothing. I do not doubt the interest of your experience, but do not mix it up with Savitri. Give it separately. This stung for a long time, but it taught me something I will never forget. Don't mix things up with Savitri. Now I see Mother's blow was a grace, and I take it as a grace, and as her love, because why would she take the time for someone as small as me to write a letter like that? These are photos of from a dear. Oh, I didn't show you this. You have to see this. From a dear friend who said, "Why should we honor people after they've left their body?" So this was an honorarium for me from Prem Shakti, and the same night with Srinivas Murthy, who many of you may know is the assistant to the secretary. I'll pass them around. This is Ravi, Prem Shakti, Pari, and Soham, the two children. I may have told you before that when I wrote Mother a letter, she would always reply to it underneath. And she would reply to it so specifically that when I would meet her afterwards, she remembered every sequence of the letter. Every sequence. So she would tell me, for example, I told her about my parents calling me in India and crying and asking me to come back to them. And Mother wrote to me, "Will they not understand if you tell them simply that you have a way of your own?" The next question I wrote to her, that I love this girl, should I marry her? Mother says, "No doubt and no hesitation, you must marry." And we did. We had a fire ceremony. Then the last one was very interesting. There was this guy from Europe, I think he was French. He wanted me to go to Europe with him so we could meet all these beautiful girls and go to these great parties. And I wrote to Mother, "Mother, should I return directly to America or go with this fellow?" And Mother writes, "Better not." And then when I meet her, she tells me something very interesting. She says, "It is better not to associate with those who live outside of themselves, as it were." Something for all of us to remember, huh? Not to associate with those who live outside of themselves. Always find satsang. Always find that common denominator which is Mother and Sri Aurobindo, in every person, you'll be all right. Any questions? We have a few more minutes, and, well, we don't have any more minutes. It's time. But, okay, may I have that?
Thank you very much for sharing with us these all so precious.
You're welcome. Thank you, sir.
You must be having the original copies.
I have the originals here.
What was the
Mother's writing also have a kind of power. That is what I felt.
Absolutely, absolutely. A
So-
great power in her writing. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.